How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video on Coaster Xtra. In today's video we are going to be operating Wicker Man at Alton Towers Resort. But before we get into the video, guys, please remember that if you enjoy, leave a like and consider subscribing. It helps the channel out a ton. Also join my Discord server if you want to come and have a chat about coasters. That's the first link in the description. Without any further ado though, guys, we are going to get straight into operating Wicker Man, which we can see on our screen now. So, to start up the ride, we've got to activate the power. And we're going to click the button that's flashing over here to turn that on. Now we've got to reset the E-stop, so we're going to hold down R. And it's going to reset the stoppage system that would have been turned on as the ride was turned off. Now we're going to set the system mode to maintenance, and we are going to turn on all the blocks. There we go. So now the ride could run, but we want to add another train on, because having just one train wouldn't really be enough, especially when the ride starts getting busy. So we're going to zoom in using this little button here, and we are going to click the transfer icon, and we're going to turn off this block so that we can transfer on a train. We'll turn it back on so we can get it out of the transfer area in a second. So yeah, this ride is a pretty cool ride in real life. I'll talk a bit more about the stats later though. But one of the added challenges for this simulator on Ride Sims is that you have to control a pre-show area, which if you've ever been on Wicker Man, you'll know that that's a real part of the ride. So we're going to start testing now, and then we're going to hop into a time lapse to do that. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so we have been doing some testing, but there seems to be an error. It was going mostly smoothly, but that is now an error. As you can see, lots of things are flashing on our screen. So we're going to check the mechanic thing, and it says that the status is the E-stop engaged. Okay, so we just need to reset the E-stop again then, I guess. I'm going to try that out, hopefully it works. Okay, and now it says system mode not set. Okay, so we're going to set the system mode, and we're going to turn on all the blocks. But we can't turn on those blocks. That's strange, I wonder why. I'm going to check the maintenance. Okay, so we've got a breakdown detected, so we're going to have to call the mechanics over. And you can see that they're going to do some stuff. They're probably going to tell us to turn on the blocks again once they've done some fixing. And we're going to check here. Engineers have asked you to clear block B, clear the block, and then click confirm. Okay, so what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to click on blocks and then click show blocks. hide this. Right. So you can see on our screen we've got all the block diagram here. And now what we're going to have to do is we're going to turn on the blocks. So that is block A. That's the lift block. So that's block B. And that is clear. Okay, so we're going to click confirm. And now we should be able to turn on the blocks. And we can, guys. So we have fixed the error, which is very good. Because now we can actually open the ride to guests. However, we just need to close this block diagram now. There we go. So we are going to open the ride to guests. And then we are going to cut to when we have some more guests in the queue, because it's a slow process to get some guests into the queue. So we're going to do that now, guys. Okay, everyone, so we've cut to now that we've got some more guests, and although the numbers at the top may not look like loads, there is actually a lot of guests in the queue, because these numbers do not include the guests who are waiting for the pre-show. And yes, as I mentioned earlier, this ride does have the added challenge of having a pre-show. Now, that means that you have to run that while you're running the ride. So, to start doing that, we're going to press the enter key, and that's going to open the doors into the pre-show. Now we're going to just wait for these guests to load in. And you can see they're all loading into the room. Yeah, the pre-show on Wicker Man, it really builds up anticipation for the ride. It's a really cool little feature, and I think it works really nicely. So we've just pressed the enter key again, and that's closed the doors. Now guests are starting to load into the pre-show holding area. Now this pre-show is going to play, and that means we just have to wait for a little bit. But while we do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the stats of Wicker Man. So Wicker Man is a coaster that is reasonably new, actually. It opened in 2018, which is 3 years ago at the time of recording. So not too long ago, actually. And it is manufactured by GCI, which stands for Great Coasters International. And it basically is a wooden coaster. That's what it is, but it's a wooden coaster with some amazing theming. You might be able to see during the layout there is this big structure here. Well, in real life, this thing is like this massive beast, and it shoots out fire whenever you pass beneath it, like real fire too, not just fake fire, real proper fire and flames and all that cool stuff. So that's really, really cool. It's not that high of a ride, but it uses the terrain to its advantage, so that's pretty cool. It's about 70 feet tall, and it reaches a speed of 45 miles per hour during the layout, so that's not too slow or sloppy of a ride. Now, this pre-show has just finished, and the doors automatically open to the station, as you can see here. Now these guests are going to start loading into the station, and this means we've got to act quick, because if this station gets too full, then no new guests from the pre-show are going to be able to come on in. So you've got to act fast, and that's part of the fun of this simulation. You've got to use the pre-show, and you've got to operate the ride. So it's got a few different challenges. It is marked as an easy simulation. However, it's definitely, I'd rank it as moderate, not quite easy. I'm going to open the doors for the next people, and we're also going to open the gates to the actual ride itself. So we're going to do that by pressing the right arrow key, and as you can see the gates swing open. Just to help you see that a bit, we're going to zoom in using the view button at the bottom, and we're going to close the gates using the left arrow key once they're available to be closed, that is. Seems like guests are still loading onto the ride. When this light up the top here turns green, which it has, we can press the left arrow, and you can see that the gates have swung shut. Okay, now we need to close the restraint, so we're going to do that by pressing the down arrow key. And you can see up the top that this light is yellow, which means it's in the progress of closing the restraint. When that turns green, which it has, it's now flashing ready to dispatch. We can press spacebar and the coaster goes out. So this is really cool. as a little process there. But we've still got some more guests in the station that we've got to deal with before this next show ends. So once this train goes out, we will do that. Another train is coming in. You might have noticed in the time lapse of me operating the coaster that I added a third train on. I just thought we might need it in the later operating stages, and I thought I might as well do it. So I did, and now we have 3 trains on the ride, which is the maximum that Wicker Man can hold. Okay, we're going to open the restraints because these will have been closed. So we're going to press the up arrow key to do that. And once they are open, we can open the gates and then close the gates and then close the restraints. So that's basically the operating process of this coaster. Now, this is a really fun coaster in real life, as well as to operate on ride sims. It's so strange. It's this massive wooden coaster, but it's a wooden coaster with fire. That just doesn't seem like it would mix, but it does. It works amazingly, especially from off-ride. It's got such a cool aesthetic from off-ride and on-ride. I'm not saying it looks awful from on-ride, but you're just going so fast that you can't really see it on-ride. But yeah, the big structure in the middle shoots out fire from the top when the train passes through it, and that is such a cool effect. So we've dispatched this train out, and this pre-show's ended as well, so I've got to act pretty quickly now and open the load doors again. As you can see, the station's now filling up, which means we've got to go. So Wicker Man, I wouldn't class it as a minor family coaster. It is marked as a family coaster, but I wouldn't class it as a family coaster in itself, to be completely honest, because it is quite thrilling. You do get quite a bit of airtime and quite a bit of forces on this ride. But what I would say is that you don't have to be a big adrenaline junkie to ride it. It's not that thrilling. There's no inversions, so if you're scared of those, that's not a problem. None of those to worry about. It's just a lap bar, which is fine. It makes you feel quite free and open, which is really cool, and you experience the airtime a bit more. But the lap bar keeps you completely secured in, so don't worry about that. And that is Wicker Man, really. It's a great ride. I do rank it quite highly. I think it's my 5th on my top 10 favourite coasters that I've been on. Now, it is a bit of a strange ride in the sense that it does tend to pick up quite a long queue. And you might think, well, how is that strange? Coasters always pick up quite a big queue. That is true, but when Wicker Man has a big queue, it's mainly because of the pre-show. Because the pre-show, they have to load the guests in, fill the load area, but they can't have too many guests in the station, so sometimes guests just have to wait in the pre-show area for a few minutes until the station clears. So things like that make the Wicker Man a slightly strange ride. And the pre-show is a strange element. You don't get pre-shows on that many rides anymore, but it's a really cool, it really does build up the anticipation for the coaster. It's such a cool pre-show. I'm not going to spoil this pre-show because if you haven't done it before, it's definitely not something that you want spoiled. It is something that you want to experience just as you're about to get on the ride. And yeah, I would recommend that if you are at Alton Towers, you definitely check out Wicker Man. And yeah, that is about it, really. It's a really cool ride. As you can see, though, this is my point. The station is getting very full. You can see that it's possible that not all these guests are going to get out the pre-show. They might, yeah, just about. But you can see now that the station is really, really cramped, which means one more pre-show load and we're not going to be able to get on those coasters. That's the one problem with Wicker Man. But the staff there do deal with it very well. It's definitely not something that's a bad thing or anything, because the ride is worth the wait. It is a very good ride. But without any further ado, though, we are going to end that video there. So if you enjoyed, Please remember that you can leave a like and subscribe at any time, and it is free. And you can always unsubscribe if you stop enjoying my content. So just remember that, and also remember to join my Discord server. It is the first link in the description, like I mentioned. It'd be really nice if you could come and check that out. That's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and goodbye.